Do you know that on Google, every day there are more than 8.5 billion searches? It's as if every person on Earth searches for something or another on Google at least once a day. This is not a small feat. But more amazing than this is that doing this is completely free. And not only Google search, almost every product by Google is completely free to use. Watching videos on YouTube is free. Using Gmail is free. Google Maps is free to use. Despite providing all of this for free, Google's market cap is more than $2 trillion. How is this possible? How can Google provide so many services for free? It doesn't charge us any money, but it has still managed to become such a big company. Welcome to Deep Dive Diaries. Let's understand the business model of the most famous company on the internet. You must have heard a lot about how we refer to photocopy machines as Xerox machines, refer to white glue as Fevicol, and refer to adhesive bandages as Band-Aid. Whenever a company dominates in its field like this, its name is associated with what it does. Similarly, today, an internet search is known as Googling something. This Google search started in 1998 as a college project. Larry Page and Sergey Brin created it with a mission to organize all the information in the world and make it accessible and useful. Our entire mission is basically to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. During its initial days, Google was a simple search engine. This is how it looked, a simple website to search for things on the internet. The word Google doesn't actually mean anything, but it is inspired by the word Google. Google is the name of a number, the number 1 followed by 100 zeros. If there are 3 zeros after 1, it is called 1,000. If there are 4 zeros, it is 10,000. Similarly, if there are 100 zeros, that number is called Google. Google was chosen as a name to refer to this number to show that their search engine will look up so much information on the internet that it will be in Google's. If you used the internet during its early days, you'd remember that Google searches in those days showed numerous result pages. Google used to number and list these result pages endlessly, and the name Google came with extra O's. In 2000, Google took its first big step. They introduced the system of AdWords. Today, it is known as Google Ads. Through this, businesses could pay to display their ads on Google's search results pages. In 2004, Gmail was introduced. In 2005, Google Maps was introduced, which changed the world. In 2006, Google acquired YouTube, the very platform you are watching this video on. Many people don't know that in the beginning, YouTube was a separate company. It was only in 2006 that Google bought YouTube. After that, in 2008, Google introduced Android, the same mobile operating system that is in most people's phones. The same year, Google launched its own web browser, Google Chrome, which is the most popular web browser in the world today. Later, Google started making its own hardware products, their Pixel smartphones, Chromebook laptops, and smart home devices. Today, Google is expanding in the artificial intelligence field as well. After hearing all this, you might feel that Google has been producing one powerful product after another, and everything turned out to be successful. But this is not true. The examples I listed right now are the examples of its successful products and services. There are many things that Google tried, but eventually failed. Like Google+, Google tried to make its own social media platform to compete with Facebook, but it failed. Google Hangouts, an app for chatting, was popular at one time, but it was shut down in 2022. Google Nexus tablets, which were also famous at one time, were competing with the iPad, but after a while, Google shut them down too. Google Podcasts, Google Glass, Google Wave, Google Reader. The number of examples of failures is far more compared to the successes. If you go to Wikipedia and look at the entire list, there are more than 200 such products and services by Google that have failed. And here we have an important lesson. Failure is the mother of all success. If you really want to achieve success, you will have to fail many times. Keeping in mind these successes and failures, let's talk about the present day and see which is the most profitable stream for Google, its oldest business model, Google Search Ads. Let's understand it in detail. On the screen, you can see the revenue breakdown of Google for the year 2022. The total revenue is $280 billion, of which 58%, or $162 billion, comes from the ads shown with Google searches. After this, the second biggest source of income is Google Network ads, the ads you see on different websites that partner with Google. Google earns $32.78 billion from here. The third source is YouTube ads, which generates $29 billion. The ads you see while watching this video are part of this revenue stream. Interestingly, these ads are also the source of income for YouTubers. The money that advertisers pay to show these ads is split between Google and the creators. 45% of the revenue goes to Google, and 55% goes to creators like me. So the 45% share of YouTube from the content of all creators generates about $29 billion in revenue for Google in a year. Similarly, apps on the Google Play Store generate revenue when an app creator sells their app through the store. 70% of the revenue goes to the creator, and 30% goes to Google. Revenue from these apps and from selling phones and laptops is fourth on the list at around $29 billion, 10.4%. Lastly, Google Cloud is a major source of revenue, generating $26 billion. Now, it's also interesting to see where Google spends this money. Around $40 billion is spent on research and development for their ongoing research to create more new products and services, to keep attempting new failures. About $44 billion is spent on non-production costs, like renting offices, advertising, marketing, accounting, and paying employees' salaries. Their total expenses are around $207 billion. As you can see on the screen, Google's income before taxes in 2022 was $71 billion. They paid $11 billion in taxes, and their profit was approximately $60 billion. The most interesting thing about this business model is providing things for free. How is it possible to earn a profit by providing things for free? There are two reasons behind this. First, these free things are not completely free. The base level products are free, but if you want premium services, you have to pay. This is a common business strategy called the freemium model, free plus premium. Many companies use this, such as Spotify, LinkedIn, and now even Twitter. In simple words, the basic services are free, but if you want premium services, you will have to pay for them. For example, Gmail is free to use, but its storage limit is 15 gigabytes. If you want more storage, you will have to pay. Google Drive is also free, but with the same 15 gigabyte limit. Watching videos on YouTube is free, but if you want to remove ads, you will need to subscribe to YouTube Premium. This freemium model is successful because it allows users to try before they buy. You can try a product, and only if you like it should you pay for it. However, in Google's case, most people do not use their paid services. Around 95% of people who watch videos on YouTube have not subscribed to the premium version. Similarly, 95% of people who use Gmail or Google Drive do not pay for them. But still, Google earns the majority of its revenue from its free services. This leads to the second reason, data collection. The more free services we use, the more Google can access our data. Everything we search on Google, every video we watch on YouTube, every email we send, all of this data is anonymously collected and used for targeted advertising. You must have noticed that if you search for a healthy recipe on YouTube, later, when you're on Google or its partner websites, you'll see ads for healthy tiffin services or nutritionists. If you search for hotels in Dubai on Google, you'll see ads for Dubai tourism and attractions. Google uses advanced machine learning algorithms to show targeted ads. Not just for ads, even to show normal search results, Google uses a very complex algorithm. When you search for something, the order in which websites appear on Google is decided by this algorithm. Ranking well in search results has become so important that a whole branch of science has emerged around it: search engine optimization, SEO. If you own a business but don't want to pay for ads, SEO can help your business appear organically at the top of search results. This brings us to our sponsor, Thatware. Thatware is an SEO company that uses over 1,000 proprietary AI algorithms and advanced SEO techniques to help you rank your brand at the top of search results. This increases visibility and brings more traffic to your website. They also offer precise ROI tracking and real-time insights. Now, let's get back to the topic of Google's ad targeting. Google creates a profile of you based on your age group, gender, location, and interests. Advertisers can specify the demographic they want to target, and Google shows the ads to those specific people. But privacy is a huge concern. Many critics point out that this method violates users' privacy. Google has responded by making privacy adjustments, but it's a continuous debate. But what's most fascinating about Google's data collection is that they claim to anonymize it. This means Google insists that no individual's identity is ever linked to the data they collect. Instead, they use patterns and trends to target ads, and as a result, they provide incredibly effective advertising while maintaining that they're not infringing on individual privacy. However, despite Google's assurances, this approach is still controversial. Many privacy advocates argue that anonymization doesn't truly protect users because it's possible to re-identify people based on the collected data, especially when combined with data from other sources. This is why we often hear about new data protection regulations being passed, like Europe's GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation, or California's CCPA, California Consumer Privacy Act. These regulations aim to ensure that companies like Google handle our data responsibly and transparently, giving users more control over what is collected and how it's used. For example, you may have noticed that websites now ask you to accept or manage cookies. This is directly related to these regulations, where users must be informed about how their data is being tracked and given the option to opt out. Google has had to adapt its practices to comply with these laws, but its core business model, targeted ads based on user data, remains central. Now let's shift gears a little and talk about the future of Google. As we know, Google is a tech giant that's constantly evolving. One of its most ambitious ventures is in the field of artificial intelligence, AI. Google's AI projects, especially its development of AI assistants and tools like Google Assistant, DeepMind, and Bard, are gaining significant attention. Their goal is to create a digital assistant that can understand context, emotion, and intent better than ever before. Imagine asking Google not just to search for something, but to carry out complex tasks for you, like planning your day, responding to emails, or even making decisions on your behalf. Another major focus for Google is cloud computing. Google Cloud is competing fiercely with other players like Amazon's AWS and Microsoft's Azure. This is because businesses worldwide are shifting their operations to the cloud, and Google wants to become the go-to service provider in this space. But there are also challenges. The more Google expands into AI, cloud computing, and hardware, the more it faces competition from other tech giants. On top of that, antitrust regulators across the globe are keeping a close eye on Google. In the US, the European Union, and even India, Google has faced numerous lawsuits accusing the company of abusing its market dominance. These cases often focus on how Google promotes its own services in search results or restricts competition on its platforms, such as with the Android operating system. One of the most prominent cases was when the European Union fined Google billions of dollars for antitrust violations related to Android. The claim was that Google forced phone manufacturers to pre-install Google apps on their devices to maintain access to the Play Store, thereby reducing competition. Google is currently appealing this decision, but it highlights the kind of scrutiny the company faces globally. Despite these challenges, Google continues to innovate and grow. From self-driving cars through its Waymo project to ambitious initiatives like providing global internet access via balloons, Project Loon, Google is a company that doesn't just rest on its laurels. It continually seeks new frontiers to explore. So what does this mean for us as users? Well, we'll likely continue to see a mix of convenience and concern. On the one hand, Google will keep making our lives easier with its cutting-edge technology and services. On the other hand, the questions around privacy, data security, and market dominance will persist. It will be up to regulators, consumers, and companies like Google to find a balance that promotes innovation without sacrificing user rights. In conclusion, Google's journey from a college project to a $2 trillion behemoth is nothing short of remarkable. Its ability to offer free services while generating massive revenue through ads is a business model that has revolutionized the internet. But the road ahead will be paved with both opportunities and challenges. Whether it's AI, cloud computing, or privacy concerns, Google will remain at the forefront of the tech world, shaping the way we live and interact with information. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into Google's business model. If you found this video insightful, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated with my latest content. Also, let me know in the comments what you think about Google's approach. Do you feel comfortable with how your data is being used, or are you more concerned about privacy? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And as always, keep exploring, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next video. This is Deep Dive Diaries, signing off.